Welcome back to Warzone and welcome aboard the Chieftain Mk.3, and this is a tank that I absolutely loved when it came out for the sole purpose reason that it was just so deeply satisfying to butcher Russian tanks that previously were so hard to kill for me because, you know, tanks like the Leopard I didn't buy myself, the heat defense with golden eagles and the lack of mobility and so forth, and the turret front, you know, in the hold down position was really tough. These days the turret is just not that impressive anymore, and it always had its weak spots. For example, the cupola is very hard to hide, and you will be amazed how easy it is for easy tankers to insert there, you know, something called APHE shells, which tend to do a lot of damage, usually resulting in a one-shot death for you. So, Chieftain Mk.3, it has a Bleach rating, a battle rating of 8.0, and the thing is, this is after the 6.7, you know, glory battle rating for the British with FE4 202, the Centurion Mk.3, the Tortoise, and also the Carnarvon. It's the first tank that is actually again playable. I think that the Conqueror is a disgustingly bad tank due to the ammunition and the long reload and combination of both. With the Chieftain you have a really fast reload, way below 10 seconds, and so you can do the follow-up shot before a tank, you know, can rotate the crew or extinguish the fire and turn the turret, for example, just to give you an example. And the battle that I show you here is a battle that I do not survive, but I want you to have a look at how careful I'm playing. And I'm not going directly towards the enemy's capture zone, and I want to go into this road here. And I have an M48 with me, behind me, and I have a very good look around the corner. I used my artillery strike in advance, and I spotted one or two tanks. And oh look, there is a tank, a Soviet, what is it, Object 906. God, I hate those bastards. I so hate those bastards. Numerous examples where I hit their gun breach and they didn't get a hull break and all this shenanigan stuff. And I'm positioning myself in a way, well, it's critical. If he would sling around the corner, he could, you know, due to his stabilizer, which is a vehicle that's one battle rating lower, just shoot straight through certain parts of the turret and certain parts of the lower hull, or the entire lower hull, you know. British perfect design for getting killed. And yeah, I used here an artillery strike. The M48 got taken out by an Object 120 behind me, so I'm here literally between a rock and a hard place. And yeah, I tried to angle myself, tried to bait him into a shot, but this is the first time in weeks, if not months, that I destroyed a tank with an artillery strike. And it was his mistake. He got probably hull broken by the big HE shell that splashed somewhere around him, and now I have a good position. And you know, you have to play this tank extremely careful, and so you are not able to really push into the enemies, as we'll see later on. I also have a second gameplay for you. And you know, it's very difficult due to the lack of mobility to go into a hull down position. And as I mentioned, these hull down positions very often are very quickly compromised. Somebody's going to flank you, somebody's going to drop a bomb on you. The lack of mobility in conjunction with how your mobility works, hello there, you have a lot of maneuvering problems on those steep hills. Your reverse speed is not the very best, and the gun is excellent. The stabilizer is lovely. The ammunition is spot on, I think, for the battle rating, but everything around the tank is just garbage. And you feel here a little bit of the problematic that the Germans also throughout their tech tree, you know, really feel the lack of mobile support. So it's all down to you. However, you never have to face the Americans, which is a big plus point, and they very often support you with their mobile tanks. Even at much lower battle rating, they can troll the hell out of the enemy. The entire light tank line from the Americans is just superbly suited to do so. Artillery strikes, spotting, and all the good stuff. T-54-47, he was spotted. Again, I looked at the minimap, I listened to my surrounding, and I want to support my enemies. The gun breach absorbed all the damage, which is nice, and now he's gone. And I retreat again. This is a perfect ambush position. This is frontline positioning. It's very rare to get this position. I drop another artillery strike, and I just look behind me, I look in front of me, I listen to my surrounding. This is also a very good spot below this overhanging rock to be safe from a lot of artillery strikes. Bomb drops and rocket strikes are difficult on this position. The color scheme of your tank with the camouflage, the standard camouflage, really lets you blend into your environment. This is a really good camping tank. The problem is, what can you do in a camper if you need to advance, if you need to capture the enemy's spawn point location, or not spawn point, capture zone and so forth. There was an Object 906. I missed the shot, which is really, really bad. I am not even sure if he noticed that. So I'm hanging around. I have here the big advantage of having a solid shot. The APDS is really good, for shooting through the houses, and I get him. Fuel tank and an ammunition hit because he drove out into the open. And now, well, the enemy, some of my friends are capturing the zone, or are currently in the process of decapturing, and I'm hanging around in the back. And if that would have been a tank, I'd be dead by now, because the side is so weak. The ammunition is scattered all around the tank. It regularly blows up, and if you take less ammunition with you, then you very often run out of ammunition in a situation where you need it, where you have a good hold down position, and the enemy is like, rolling down a hill or something, like in a shooting gallery, and you cannot even get enough shots out there despite your good rate of fire, a good muzzle velocity, accurate gun, and all the things. So I'm here in the second line. But this is just possible if I'm playing together with, another nation. Oh, that was way too close for comfort. That was a situation that is often referred as brown alert. That was hilarious. So, hostile team is capturing A. Now, there is a tree falling. I don't know what it is, where it is, but it must be around the corner. I don't want to go around the corner. Even with the turret being held down, I wouldn't dare to do so. So, what do? Well, we call in an artillery strike, and we stand still, not giving away our positioning via the engine sound. And I look around behind me, and there he is. I'll brake. So if he would have been faster on the trigger, his what's the rocket called? Concourse? Yeah, it slices through chieftains like you wouldn't believe. In fact, I think that is one of the few advantages that the Conqueror has. It has a better turret. You might not believe it, but it has better turret armor. When you get shot at randomly, everybody knows that the not so angled part on the chieftain's hull, they're just so vulnerable due to heat and all this high caliber APHE from the Russians. Object 906, they just hammer right through. Object 268, sorry about this. And there is a KV2 around the corner. I write it in chat, and I don't want to go head on with a KV2 because he would blast me a new one, and I don't like that. So I also spotted an Object 906 in the background, and so I need to do a little bit of flanking. I want to go around. The KV-2 doesn't have particularly fast turret rotation speed and also doesn't have a stabilizer, so that is all good for me. Clean shot into this tank, and now you might think I have him, but no. I made one mistake. Once I didn't look around, and a BMP-1 well executed me because that one propellant charge actually blew up. So, second match is, well, it's going the same meta, to be honest, or the same way. This time we're playing together with the Russians, and every time you play together with the Russians, you just have a better match. It's just my experience for, you know, playing 5 years of War Thunder. You play together with the Russians, you have an easier time. The Russians have they have the best tech tree that there is. They have very good air superiority planes, especially for low altitude. They have good attackers, they have fast bombers, medium bombers in particular, that you know, can drop a lot of payload. I think the only nation that can come close are the Germans with their Do-217s. Cannon CAS is not so good, so yeah, this is also affecting some of the Russian planes. And then they have light tanks, they have fast medium tanks with good armor, with good guns, with good ammunition. They just are so straightforward to use. And with the Chieftain, again, I repeat, you have the problem. You need to go at long range, you need to go hull down, you need to keep the distance to the enemy, reposition yourself. But the problem is to get into a position, where you actually find yourself able to shoot enemy tanks and to not get flanked. And, you know, all you know, tier boosts out there, how should I do that in a city map? How should I do this on the Advance to the Rhine map? Or the Stalingrad map, when I have to also go in for the capture zone? Because we still have capture the flag, so to speak. We still have capture, you know, the capture point. And the Chieftain is not really suited for that. And it, again, doesn't have the support to do so. And yet I loved the Chieftain. I loved the Chieftain so much that I actually put a talisman on it. And I used the Chieftain to research the Challenger 1, which I just got for a test drive, you know, to make the tank review on it from Gaijin. And despite getting 10,000 subscribers and receiving 50,000 golden eagles as well, you know, I asked myself, am I really becoming a gold whore? I mean, it helps you a lot if you get, you know, a tank or a plane and you need to purchase some desperately needed upgrades. And will I forget about the stock grind? The answer is no. Despite the grinding process being very painful, because a lot of matches just end in me getting instantly flanked and instantly one-shotted and leaving the match, I want to make this tank work. It has such a great gun. It has such a small purpose on the battlefield where it's really useful, but when it does, it's just very satisfying. The problem is, it doesn't happen very often. The gameplay rushes, you know, sideways on. Other tanks just battling out, getting spawn points and, you know, getting the capture zones, killing each other, getting points and points and points, while you're still there repositioning, you know. The mobility is just awful on this tank. I mean, you have to use the hills, but your engine is too weak to handle it, and this is a... It's just frustrating, you know, and it's something that you really have to learn. So, again, I'm researching the Challenger 1 myself. Just around about 60,000 research points left at this stage, and, well, I just refuse to convert my experience that I gained so far. And that was really lucky that he didn't shoot at me first. Yeah, and I have to reload to finish off the gunner clean off. So, yeah. Leopard A1A1. Now with the AP FSDS, it's a serious threat to any tank on the battlefield, as it should be, but it's still very vulnerable. And it's the first German tank that actually gets a stabilizer, battle rating wise. If you exclude the Gepard, the SPA, but you cannot really count that, you know. However, we move on, and now we are in a good hold down position, and look at this. That is a Coelion. First shot in. Second shot in. And he's still not dead, and I bounced the shot very, very luckily. And normally I should have the reload advantage. I actually do not really penetrate, but some spalling gets into the cannon breach of this Leopard. He hangs around too long, and I kill him off. Good stuff. I'm not quite sure if that was the same. So back to the Coelion, which can't do anything, and with the third shot, we kill him. Good stuff. There's a Leopard in the open, and due to the scope, it looks like the shell is really lazy, but it isn't. It's relatively fast. And what is that? What the fuck is that? Oh god. How could I fuck it up like that? That was just my brain not really registering the tank stopping and, you know. But what is that? Well, it was a Raketenjagdpanzer 2 with, equipped with the Lenkflugkörper SS11. Yeah, some German for you. And there is another Leopard. I see him being pinged on the map, being registered, but I cannot find a target solution, and I don't want to expose the side of my tank. You know, it's really always playing with the fire. The enemy knows where you are. Somebody's you know, doing an ambush tactic. You don't see him. You poke your head out, and he gets removed clean off. What is that? Another Leopard, and we get the cannon breach. That is good. That is good. He's out for a while, and I can concentrate on somebody else. I should beat the repair of my tracks to his cannon breach. And just as I thought I could advance, the second I moved up, I catch myself a nice juicy AP FSDS round. But he could have killed me with the Heat FS as well. And there is just one warhead that gets hit and blows up the tank. What a nice result. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.